Well, good afternoon on a bright, beautiful, sunny afternoon on a Thursday here in the UK. I'm very pleased that you could join us. It's a lovely afternoon. And here we are indoors, but we're going to have a bit of fun as well, too. Right now, today is we're talking about marketing. So marketing health. We're speaking with Colette Bratton. She's a marketing expert, or she calls herself, I can't remember the term she used now, marketing manager, anyway. And she'll tell me exactly the term that she uses. But sorry if my head's a little bit full today, but it's hot, okay? So spare me. Anyway, I want to thank you and welcome you to another episode of Strictly Healthy. Of course, this is the show that looks at all things to do with our holistic health. So emotional, mental, physical, financial health, as well as we look at business health and various things that we could do to help make things better for ourselves in terms of our business and our personal lives. So I thank you for joining us this afternoon. And today, as I mentioned, we have Colette Bratton. She is from the Small Business Equalizer. And I want to welcome you in today. Thank you very much, Colette, for joining us.
My pleasure.
Great. Now, I said you're a marketing manager, but I forgot what term you actually used. You told me the other day. So you think I remember?
No, so, it's marketing mentor, and I call myself that. There's something about the word marketing consultant that I've just never felt comfortable with, even though it is, effectively what I am. But marketing mentor just sounds more helpful and less expensive.
Oh. Okay. So we'll go with that. Marketing mentor. That's okay. Because it does sound more helpful, actually. Now, you've had 30 years experience in the industry. So I want to just first of all say congrats to you, for having had 30 years in the industry. So I am assuming you can share a fair bit with us today to help us just get as much as possible in terms of what we can do to help with our marketing and getting our message out, because it's changed obviously over the years, and especially with social media, and now we've got Clubhouse and all the rest of it. And what exactly do? We're getting a bit of overwhelmed, so I'm hoping you can simplify things a little bit for us today.
Yeah, definitely.
But sure, go ahead.
So, I was just about to say, in those 30 years, I've seen loads of change, because when I was first starting in marketing, there was no email, that there was no social media. Everything was print and, phone directories and adverts. We still had billboards, but nothing was online. I still remember my first job where we had a website for the first time, but there was only one email and on one computer. So I used to have to walk completely the other side of the building to IT to pick up the company email, because there was just that one in. Things have changed.
Wow. It has changed. It has indeed. But let's just backtrack a little bit and just find out a little bit about you and some of your background and your history and how you got started, what companies you work with, how then you got into your own personal business. If you could briefly just tell us that would be lovely.
Of course, yeah. So I went to university and I specialised in marketing in my final year, and then I left and started my career. So I've worked for some wonderful companies. I've been really lucky with the companies I've worked for. Some major national and international brands. I've worked across retail, across media, sport. My last employed role, I was head of marketing at Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club. So very, very different from where I started, which was at Leyland Daff, marketing trucks. So there's not really anything I can't market, because it's all down to the same principles. It's about understanding your product, understanding how you help, and understanding your target market. And if you get those things right, then you can get your marketing right.
Yes. Okay. That's amazing. It just sounds like you would be a wealth of knowledge of information. So if we could just start with, how can we sort of determine, here we are right now. Yeah. With if you could give us some idea of what type of level we are right now and where we sort of need to go to get to?
Sure. Well, I mean, the problem most small business owners have is time, because we're all busy. We're all trying to wear a million different hats. You know, we're trying to do whatever it is we do as a business. We're trying to keep customers happy. We're also on top of that trying to keep our books and accounts up to date. And then somebody comes along and says, well, you've actually got to market your business as well. And that's when, you know, I hear some business owners groan and they wish there was some kind of magic wand that they could just pick up and waft. But unfortunately, there isn't. There's no magic wand. The only way to get more customers and you know, get your profile raised higher is to do marketing. And the type of marketing really depends on what type of customers you've got, you know. So I do get people say, where should I market my business? And I say, well, let's take a step back. Who are your customers? Because, you know, if your customers are the older generation who aren't on Twitter and Clubhouse, then, you know, there's no point you spending time on there. So it's really about understanding your audience, and then you can work out where your marketing messages need to go.
Okay. So in terms of our target audience, many people are saying Facebook is sort of the place to go and to sort of find your target audience. Would you agree with that, or what would you recommend?
Again, it really depends. So if your audience, I mean, Facebook is great for research. So even if your audience on Facebook, as in using it every day, there may be ways like using Facebook groups that you can start to do some research on Facebook. But I would say that you need to have a look at where your audience actually is. So, you know, a lot of the business to business community spend time on LinkedIn, but that same business to business community keep in touch with their friends on Facebook. So, you know, you can use both. I always picture the two platforms as both serving businesses. Many people think Facebook is just business to consumer, and I don't agree with that. You know, Facebook's got a huge potential to be used for business. So it is really about understanding where your audience are and then putting the messages out on that particular platform.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And you're going to share a few tips with us. But what I wanted to find out, you mentioned something in your website, stop being your best kept secret. I thought that was quite interesting and quite cute, because unfortunately, a lot of us do maybe not get the message out enough.
I think...
Is that what you meant by that?
Yeah. When you think, when most people start businesses, they start a business not because they want to go and do marketing and they want to have to sell and shout about it. They start a business because of a passion for what they do, or they've got fed up of working in that particular line of industry and, you know, want control of their own life. And it's a bit like that saying, build it and they will come. A lot of people think if they start a business, people will just flock to it. And then unfortunately, the reality is that it doesn't happen that way. Most business owners find that starting the business is harder work than they thought it would be, even if they weren't afraid of hard work and knew they were going to have to put the hours in. But there are so many people offering so many different things. There are so many marketing messages flying around, you know, and you mentioned social media. Think about all the posts that we all see every day. And, you know, somebody might put a post out once and expect a flood of orders. Well, only a portion of people will have seen that post to start with. So, yeah, being your best kept secret is not good when you're in business. You want to be the person that when somebody says, do you know anybody who can help with whatever it is your business does, that you've got people who will say, oh, you need to speak to Linda.
So yeah, so how do we sort of get into that referral pool, if you like? Do you mean for us to be on social media very regularly, or should we network with people more? You know what I mean? Like business networking groups.
Sure, yeah.
That we build up the relationship with them. It's
normally a bit of both, and it depends where your audience is. So if you are a local business and your audience is local, then, you know, it's great to go and network at local meetings. if your audience is national, I mean, it's different now anyway, isn't it? Since COVID, we're all networking online. So actually you can be at a local meeting, and the local meeting could be the other end of the country or in a different country. The barriers have just disappeared now because of COVID. But local networking is great. Social media is great. I mean, when you think about it, social media gets your message to people you don't know, but it also gets your message to the people who do follow you, who are your local network. The key thing is that the messages are clear about what you do and what you offer. And if you've got those clear messages, then even if people are just seeing what you're putting on a scroll past their Facebook or LinkedIn feed, if somebody says, do you know somebody who does X, your name will come into the fore, and that's what you're after. Even if it's it could either be, I network with somebody who does that, or I saw something on Facebook the other day, why don't you check that out? It doesn't really matter as long as the message is getting out there.
Okay. And speaking of getting the message out, it seems as though, many people are saying that we have to repeat things, videos. And I know that's what you sort of just said, but I'm a little shyer about, I keep thinking, they've seen this video. I've just put this video out. Do they want to see it again tomorrow? But I mean, what would you say to that?
I wouldn't use exactly the same thing over and over again. Not the day after each other anyway. What I would do is repurpose the content. So, if it's a video, you can take a 3-minute video and chop it down into 30-second chunks. You could just, show a part of that. You could, when you're recording a video, if you've got a message that you want to get across, you could maybe record that in 3 different ways. So, in one recording session, whilst you've got your lippy on and you're ready and your camera's all set up right, do a couple of different versions of it. So you're getting the same message out, but you're not repeating the same words parrot fashion.
Yes, that sounds great. All right. So I believe you're going to share some tips with us today on what sort of specifics that we can do.
Sure, yeah. I've got 5 tips to share with you today.
Okay, great. We'll go through them bit by bit then.
No worries.
In any order that you like. I don't care.
Enough. Okay. The first one is to understand where you are now versus where you want to be, because a lot of business owners, they have a mission, they have a goal when they start out, and that's to, run their own business. And then we all get busy. And sometimes we lose sight of what it was we actually wanted to achieve when we first started. And as a result of that, we just get involved in the day-to-day work. And sometimes it's only, maybe at New Year when we stop for a holiday, or if we get away for a holiday in the summer, and you just have that time to stop and think, and you think, actually, this isn't the business that I thought I was going to be running. Sometimes we let life control us instead of us looking at where we want to be. So, I've had business owners in the past who've said that, a lot of their work isn't local. So, they might be traveling 2 hours to see most of their clients. And that's because they've waited for stuff to come to them rather than decide what they want. If they really wanted local clients, they need to market to their to their local area. So sometimes it's just about stopping and reviewing and thinking where your business is and whether it's actually where you wanted it to be. And
I guess we've got to put that marketing plan into our regular business plan as well too, and keep, like you say, checking back to make sure it is fitting in with what we expect it to be.
Yeah, definitely. Keep reviewing and keep checking.
Yes, but sometimes I feel waiting too long, technology changes on us, and then we've got to jump on this other bandwagon. If not, we're missing out. Like Clubhouse seems to be, like I said, the next sort of phase that we're into now. What's your thoughts on Clubhouse anyway?
I was hooked on Clubhouse at Christmas. I got an invite just in the Christmas holidays, which was amazing because ordinarily I don't have that much time to listen, but because it was Christmas and obviously, we're all kind of semi-lockdown, we weren't going out. I spent hours listening to Clubhouse. I love it. I love learning. I love listening to podcasts. So Clubhouse to me is just kind of, a podcast that I don't have to choose. I can just go in and see what rooms are happening. I really like it.
Yeah. It's funny how we've all been told video is the way to go. And then now we've gone back to sort of like a semi-radio type of feel with Clubhouse. It's quite interesting, don't you think, that we've sort of gone that curve? But
it is. Yeah, definitely. It's not what I'd have expected. Somebody had just said, what's the next greatest thing? I wouldn't have thought, turn the video cameras off and just listen.
Yes, yeah. But I see some people are also now taking it and bringing it on to Instagram.
Yes.
Doing a live on Instagram and sort of feeding it into Clubhouse at the same time.
Oh, I think there's going to be some major developments going on over the next few months. The Clubhouse equivalents coming on other platforms. Like you say, people starting to integrate more. I've heard a few other speakers say where they think Clubhouse is going to go. It sounds fascinating.
Yes, it does indeed. Yeah, good. So I guess we can go to your next tip then.
Yeah. Okay, so tip number 2, I've kind of mentioned earlier, and it's know everything you can about your target audience and how you help. Most people with marketing, they concentrate on where they're going to put their messages instead of stopping and thinking about their target audience. Now, every marketing course you'll have ever done, every marketing book you've ever read will have had a question in there about who is your target audience. But it's not the very exciting bit. We always want to get onto the next bit. So if we're on a course about LinkedIn or Facebook, that kind of first chapter of target audience is something that we most just skip through, because actually understanding your target audience to a depth of what is really helpful is hard work. It makes your brain ache, because it's not just about, many people will say my target audience is small business owners. Well, what kind of small business owners? Business to business, business to consumer? What kinds of people are they? Do they tend to be male or female? But what you're really after isn't the demographic stuff. It's what problems your business solves. We buy stuff to solve problems. So we look for solutions. So if you can understand what solution your business offers, then you can start writing your marketing messages in the right way so that they start to appeal to people. Sometimes the marketing messages are so broad, and I hear people say, but I could help anybody, and they could. I know they could, but who really do you help? And if people get stuck, I ask them to think about who their current customers are. What similarities do their current customers have? And that's normally a guide as to how you should start to think about your target audience, as long as you want customers like your current customers. If you don't like your current customers, or you're starting a new product or service, then you do need to start from scratch with a blank sheet of paper.
Yes. Okay. Now, sorry for that noise just now. My hubby is printing something, and for the life of me, I'm like, doesn't he know I'm on live? Why is he printing something?
Oh, that's the beauty of live, Linda. The beauty of live.
That's the beauty of live. We make bloopers and we just carry on.
We do.
Now, to your point, though, many people are saying that we should sort of have an avatar, like really drill it down to knowing the name of the person. And I know you mentioned about the demographic, so male, female, the age group, and what their issue is. Would you agree with that?
Understanding their issue, definitely. But yes, having an avatar helps. It's more about the business owner. The avatar's more to help the business owner, because sometimes it helps to be able to picture that person. So I will say to people on, some of the courses I run that, draw that person out. What are they wearing? Are they in business suit, or, are they in casual clothes? What do they do? What kind of background are they in? Or sometimes we'll get loads of magazines out and we'll just rip out pictures of people who fit our target audience. I've worked in companies, I've been in meetings where, the avatar is almost given a chair, and their name, and they're at the meeting, and it's kind of what what would he or she think? And it's just a mindset thing. It just helps you start thinking the right way.
Yeah, I think it kind of brings it alive. I quite like that idea of, having a cardboard cutout of that person, because you feel like you're talking to them, and you get to understand, I think, your target audience a little bit more, don't you?
Definitely, yeah. It's it's what works, doesn't it? And these big companies do it because it works. yeah.
And your other point too about drilling the message right down, and being specific about who you want to help. I find that interesting. I tried that sort of the first time this year, and that really made a huge difference, because even though, yes, I can help a range of people because I've had years of experience similar to yourself, but as soon as I drilled it down, said this is specifically what I want to do or who I'm looking for, it sort of brought people out of the woodwork, if you like.
It does. So sometimes if I'm trying to help somebody and they're really having an issue trying to understand a niche audience, I just get them to think about all their customers, and I get them to almost draw them out. And then that way you can say, okay, so they buy from me because they have this problem, and they buy from me because they like doing this. And all of a sudden it starts to break that huge clump of people who I can help anybody down into, oh yeah, no, I see. So for those people, I need to talk about that. And for these people, I need to talk about that. And that's another thing. Some business owners think they can only have one target audience. They can only have one particular avatar. And you don't. You can have as many as are appropriate. If you've got very different products and services, some businesses serve business to consumer and business to business. Now, obviously, you would have two separate avatars for those people, and probably two lots of different marketing messages.
Yes, that makes a whole lot of sense to me.
Good.
Yeah. Right. So what other tips can you share with us then?
So tip number 3 is have a plan to achieve your goal. And this is where what you were talking about earlier, Linda, about a marketing plan comes in. So if you know where you are and you know where you want to get to, how are you going to get there? So, break that down into, to achieve, if your target is sales, to achieve that number of sales, how many products or services do I need to sell? Because if you've got an idea in your mind of what you want to achieve, it's much easier to see how well you're doing. So definitely have a plan, work out where your target audience is, work out how many times you're going to post on social media. Are you going to do other things as well? Are you going to do a press release about your launch? Are you going to do a direct mail campaign? Are you going to tell your existing customers? So once you start to plot out everything that you want to do, then that goal just becomes much more achievable, because you've actually got a plan of action to get there.
And do you, in your own business, you have forms, etc., that you use to help you with plotting your plan out?
Yes, yeah. So I have what I call my one-sheet marketing strategy cheat.
Aha.
And the reason it's a cheat is it's 2 sides of A4, but it's still one sheet. See, and it's a nice way for business owners to be able to plan out their marketing, but without, some people think of a marketing plan and they think of it like a business plan. They think it's got to be like, 3 million pages thick, and it doesn't. A marketing plan can be as simple as you like it to be. And in fact, the simpler the better to start with. You can always build up the detail. So my one sheet marketing strategy cheat is a great way just to get people to think about what are the key times of year that I need to be marketing my business. When am I quiet? When am I busy? When am I going to do that launch? And to have it all out on one sheet, so that then you can start to put the plans in place.
Yeah, sounds good to me. It makes a whole lot of sense. So, excuse me. What other tips then would you share with us?
2 more to go. Tip number 4 is prioritize your limited resources. Now,
say again, sorry.
Prioritize your limited resources. Now, what I mean by that is small business owners, we started off saying it, we're all busy. We're all doing a million different things. We're short on time, and quite often we're short on budget. We're not earning millions and millions. We've only got so much money that we can reinvest in marketing. So we need to really prioritize what we do and where we do it. And from a time perspective, that may mean that instead of trying to do everything yourself as a business owner, you concentrate on the decisions, on the marketing decisions that only you can make. So, for example, there's only you as the business owner knows where you want the business to be. Nobody else can do that. If you brought in somebody outsourced, they wouldn't know, because they'd say, well, where do you want your business to go? So, things like the marketing strategy, things like what target audience you're going after, they are decisions that only the business owner can make. Now, things like creating a leaflet or a flyer or any of those kind of things, if you're short on time as a business owner, then get somebody else to do the stuff that doesn't have to be done by you. Prioritize your time properly, because I see many business owners tell me they've not got time to do marketing, and then they tell me they've spent 4 hours on Canva designing a leaflet. Now, because they don't know Canva so well, it takes them 4 hours, whereas chances are they could have found somebody who could have done it for them in half an hour, charged them not very much money, and just got it sorted and let them do the important stuff. So prioritize your time and prioritize your resources as well. Lots of people get hooked into what sound like great advertising opportunities, and they're not always, unfortunately. So if you're not sure about spending money on marketing, then run it by a few people. If you know a friendly marketing professional, just pick their brains, because sometimes they will tell you to go and check out a few other things, whereas once that money's spent and you've not got a return on it, it's gone. So always make sure you're prioritizing your limited resources.
Okay, now if I could just expand on that a little,
Sure.
What would you say are the places that we can actually advertise? What would you recommend as effective places to advertise or to promote or market our business? I'm talking like specifics now. Some people say that, once upon a time it used to be newspapers or magazines and that sort of thing. Obviously, no more with that.
So, not necessarily. Again, it depends on the target audience. So,
Sure.
If your target audience are more elderly, they still read news. They have time to read newspapers. They have time to read magazines. There are magazines that are targeted, certain times of your life. You'll pick up magazines, wedding magazines, and when you first have a baby and you've not got a clue when you're reading all the mother and baby magazines, where's the manual? What do I do? So those things aren't necessarily out. Print is still very valid, but it's more about understanding when to use them. Things like Facebook advertising are fantastic for businesses. Because just really down to how much data Facebook has. So with a Facebook advert, you can target people based on their age, whether they're engaged, whether they're married, what job title they have. I think Facebook is, apart from buying data from one of the big data houses, Facebook has the most options for marketeers now. And from a small business perspective, when I've already said we don't have a lot of money, you can advertise on Facebook for a couple of pounds a day. So it really is great value for money, because you can put something out, you can test it, you can see how it works. And obviously, if it doesn't work, you tweak it. If it does work, then you can put more money behind it to get more results. But it still comes down to your target audience.
Do you create Facebook ads for people, or is that something you outsource?
No, I do create them. I create them for my clients. I create them for myself. And then as part of my marketing membership, I also teach business owners to create them, so that they can do their own thing. They can understand how it works and take it forward themselves.
Wonderful. I might be coming to you for that kind of help, possibly. Well done. Okay. So then I know your last tip is about being distracted. And I know I'm terrible, absolutely terrible with that, because an email will come in, check this out, somebody will say something on Messenger and you're all over the place. So how can we keep ourselves from being distracted?
It's very difficult. And, like you say, that there are the distractions that happen when you're working. But I actually want to take this bigger. This is about not being distracted in terms of where you want your business to go. So if you know that you want to grow your business, but you're not actually putting any time aside to market your business, then don't be surprised if it doesn't move forward. If you know, what's that saying? I can never remember it exactly, but if you keep doing what you've always done, you keep getting what you've always got, or something
Exactly.
along those lines.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
lots of people, because we're all busy, we start Monday morning, we've got all these good intentions to do some marketing on our business, and before we know it, it's Friday and we've still not done anything. And that happens month 1, month 2, month 3. So if you're really keen on growing your business, you need to set aside time to do it. Now, there are lots of ways to do that, whether it's, we don't have any more. There's only 24 hours in a day. I've tried asking for more. It doesn't work. I've tried looking for a cloning machine. I can't find one of those either. So I had to try and find a way. And that's the thing about me with marketing. Everything I'm teaching my small business clients, it's all coming from my own experience, because I too am a small business owner. I've got 2 young kids. I'm trying to build a business and market a business and grow a business and run a business and keep clients happy, just like everybody else is. So you have to find the time, but there isn't any spare time. A lot of people start looking for spare time. I tell you now, there isn't any. What you've got to do is prioritize. So, whether it's the fact that when my kids were younger and they were in bed earlier, when they're babies and they go to bed at a certain decent time, I'd work on my marketing in an evening. As the kids got bigger and older and their bedtimes got later, I now get up earlier in the morning and do some marketing on my business. Some people, I say, treat your own business as if it's a client. So, set aside time like you would for your client work or your customer work. Prioritize it as important as your customer and client work, and don't let anybody move it. And that's the way you'll grow your business. So there are lots of ways, making sure you're only doing the things you have to do, and outsource stuff if you've got too much to do and not enough time. There are ways of doing it, but the distraction is when we don't do that, and the client calls and says, can you come and see me? And it's the time that you should have been working on your marketing. And that's hard, because it's the client work that pays the bills, so
Indeed.
You do have to be dedicated, but I fully get where you are with distraction and emails. I mean, I post on social media for clients, and sometimes I'll go on to post something on social media, and then I log into my account to do it, and then I'll see a post from a friend and go, oh, what's that? And then before you know it, oh, hang on, I've got to get back to doing this. So distractions these days are very difficult.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you ever so much, Colette. This has been fantastic.
It's been a pleasure.
You've shared some excellent tips, and would you believe the time has gone already?
Wow, it really has. Gosh, that's flown.
It has gone very quickly. So I appreciate your time, and yes, we shall certainly learn from these tips that you have provided. So I'm sure we'll be catching up very soon. So thank you ever so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Linda. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. So that was Colette Bratton, and she shared 5 tips with us, which was fantastic, on how we can sort of focus in and really manage our marketing a little bit better. So we'll get those tips out to you guys as well at some point. So bear with us, and hopefully you can join us next time. Of course, we'll have another fantastic guest on then, and hopefully we're having another good day like we are today. But I appreciate you joining us. And if you're finding value from these interviews that we do, please do like, share, subscribe, all the rest of it, because then it'll help us to carry on and continue. And please share with others that you think could benefit from the information that's being said here today. So I thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.